The INTJ in the workplace. The INTJ can be both your top performer and your most difficult and independent. And by independent, I mean not a team player. The INTJ is known for being the most independent of all types, and thus do not always feel like they need other people around them to accomplish tasks. And to others, they may come across as arrogant and cold, and in some negative aspects, very condescending. I want to go through the pros and the cons of the INTJ at work so you can judge what this person will bring to your organization for better or worse. INTJs are very good at learning the system by which your organization operates, whether that's a sales organization or whether it's like in manufacturing. One thing they're very good at is figuring out inefficiencies in that system and quickly coming up with ideas to make it better. Bosses will find that INTJs do not need their hand held after that initial learning or training session when they're being onboarded in a company. They can pretty much run autonomously and ask a few questions along the way if they really get stuck. An INTJ will be great at brainstorming sessions, strategic sessions about what the future of the company is going to look like, because they have a reservoir of knowledge and just general ideas out there to help with some of these strategy meetings. As they grow within an organization, they're going to want to take on more responsibility. This is great for a leader who wants to grow their organization from within, so they can take an INTJ and say, all right, learn this part of the business, and they will do it quickly. The pros of an INTJ will always be around their strategy, understanding the system, and then being able to fix inefficiencies so your organization runs a lot smoother. Now for the cons, they're arrogant and stubborn. Given that they're one of the most intellectual and independent types, a lot of their attitudes, both in the way that they communicate and the way that they look at people, they might seem like they are condescendingly thinking this person is inferior. On the same side of that token is another issue, another con, which is respect for authority is almost zero if they don't believe that you are competent. They don't care if you're the president, CEO, or the chairman. If you aren't able to, in their mind, keep up with you intellectually, any advice, your opinion, disregarded, which is a very big deal because obviously someone could be wrong one time, but the next thing they say to you is correct. So the INTJ can be very stubborn in their approach to people, new ideas, things they don't view as intellectually stimulating. And on the same side of that, they're really bad communicators because of their intuition and their introversion. Some of their ideas are just too abstract they're not good at talking about them. So they'll be like, yeah, okay, I have this idea for the direction of the company, but it's like, you know what I'm saying, right? And they're constantly trying to get their ideas into the verbal realm instead of just in their own head. So a lot of them can be seen as too far out, or the ideas don't have any tangible value. So that's also an issue too, is sometimes in email, their responses are like 4 steps ahead and not addressing the actual question or concern that was asked of them. The last thing is attention to detail that I feel like is an issue within organizations that dealing with the INTJ is details and administrative tasks. Like something as simple as like filling out a spreadsheet correctly or punctuating an email or spell checking can sometimes, that introversion again with that intuition is like, you get what I'm saying, right? I mean, you understood generally what I was saying, and the assumption that people understand things can cause so many different errors in understanding, which ultimately leads to the INTJ unfortunately being like, well, this person's just not smart enough. They just don't get me. And that's what I've said in my other videos about it's not an intelligence thing, it's a type issue. So the INTJ is somebody that you want in your strategy sessions. They're very good at the top organizations where they're not necessarily dealing face-to-face with people and emotions and feelings. They're taking broad strokes and coming up with ingenious ideas for how to beat the competition and move the company forward. On the opposite side of that is sometimes they get too much in their own head, which can be seen as like almost aloof, and also too much into the intellectual realm of things where it's lost all its tangibility with actual application. So the INTJ, love them or hate them, they're going to be a value in an organization. It's up to the organization itself and leadership to put them in a place where they can utilize their best abilities and minimize some of the things that might cause them to alienate other people. Thanks, guys.